friends, Jackie here, and I'm going to get the camera a little bit more centered so you can tell I am looking at you. We're going to start today with a candle. It is lavender scented. And we are going to take some deep breaths together. I am breathing in God's love. I am a beloved child of God. I hope that you say that with me. I made something while I was getting ready for this, and you'll recognize it from last time, I think. And if you weren't here last time, can you guess what it is? It would be round and sit on a head. It's a crown. And surprisingly, it comes into our story again this week in a big way. Last time we talked about the treasury, and a crown might be stored in a treasury because it's so special. This time, someone asked Jesus if he is the king of the Jewish people. So I'm going to start. This is from John 18, verses 33 through 37. And the name of Pilate, which looks like Pilate, Pilate is the name for governor of an area. So it's a position someone held. Then Pilate entered the headquarters again, summoned by Jesus, and asked him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Jesus answered, "Do you ask this on your own, or did others tell you about me?" Pilate replied, "Am I Jewish? Your own people and the chief priests have handed you over to me. What have you done?" Jesus answered, "My kingdom is not from this world. If it belonged to this world, my people would have fought to keep me out of the hands of temple authorities. But as it is, my kingdom is not from here." Pilate asked him, "So are you a king?" Jesus answered, "You say that I'm a king. I was born and came into the world for one purpose, to bear witness to the truth. Everyone who belongs to the truth listens to my voice." And that's the end of the scripture. It's from a Bible called the Inclusive Bible. So here are some questions for us to think about after hearing that story. Pilate was the Roman governor over a land called Judea. He allowed the Jewish people to keep their laws and government, but stepped in when Jewish courts found someone guilty of breaking a major Roman law, like murder or overthrowing the government. Did Pilate think Jesus was guilty of anything in the story? It didn't seem like it. It seemed like he didn't know why Jesus was turned over to him by the Jewish people. I wonder what made you wonder in the story. What did you wonder about when you heard this story? Jesus said, "My kingdom is not of this world." What does a king or a queen do on this earth? Usually a king or queen will make decisions, make the laws, be the one that's in charge of a lot. What do you think, if Jesus' kingdom is not of this world, what do you think it means? What do you think Jesus' kingdom is? And how do you think it's different from the kingdom of this world? Today, we might call it the government of this world, the system. Sometimes it seems like our system of government is unfair. And if I remember that Jesus works under a different system, that helps me. And helps me remember that this world is not Jesus's system, this government. Today is the last Sunday in our church calendar. So if you remember, we have a calendar that's a big circle with colored pieces around the edge and then an arrow that goes around with us. This is the last one that is green. And I think I'm remembering right that it turns to white next Sunday because it's the beginning of Advent, which is getting ready for Christmas time. So, our activity today is to think about the year that is behind us as we begin a new church year. We're about to enter this new season. We've finished the whole year and we've learned a lot together. You've heard stories from the Bible, you've heard stories from each other, and there are still lots of stories to hear. But I think I would like to ask you 3 questions about this past year. Something that made you smile. Can you think of something that made you smile during our time together? It always makes me smile to see the faces that I do on Zoom. And the one thing that I can think of right away that made me smile was when Isabel said she had a new school lunchbox with anglerfish on it because she likes things that are dangerous and beautiful. The second question is something that made you feel loved. I can think of one thing that made me feel loved that has to do with this group. And that is, I was walking near Central Park and I saw Leslie with her grandson Trey, and Trey saw me and he came over. I think Pearl was with me. He came over and gave me a big hug. And the third question for us all is something that reminded you of God's love. And there are so many things that remind me of God's love when I look at children and talk with children. Something that reminds me of God's love is when children that I see are kind to each other, because I see that a lot. Sometimes adults forget how to show love to each other. 3 things I would like you to think about for the coming year, this new year that we're entering for the church calendar. What is something you hope to learn about this year? I'm going to have to think about these myself, so I'm asking you to think about them. The second, something you hope to do for someone else. This last week, I sent out cards for you to decorate and mail to people from our congregation. I hope that you think of other things you can do for others this year, and I hope to do the same myself. And the third thing to think about for the coming year is, can you think of one way you hope to spread the love of God to others? Because that is a way we can turn this kingdom of the world and its systems into God's kingdom and the kingdom that Jesus talked about in the story. All right, my friends. Here is our candle, and we're going to blow it out together as we say goodbye. 1, 2, 3. I will be thinking of you all this week. Until next time, goodbye.